The ending themes for the Xenoblade Chronicles games all tell a story in their own way. I would personally categorize them as love songs, but they vary in how they convey that love, and what kind of love that they are trying to convey. From Xenoblade 1's Beyond the Sky, Xenoblade 2's One Last You, Torna's A Moment of Eternity, and 3's Where We Belong. Each song is structured not just to sound pretty, they do, but they do more than just that. They tell a story and extrapolate and expand on the characters in the story and flesh out the emotion and emotional impact that these endings emanate. Let's go through each of these songs one by one and explore what makes these songs not just memorable, but perfect ways to cap off each journey. And now you would think we should start with Xenoblade 1 because it's the first game in the series. But I want to do things a little bit differently today. Beyond the Sky is unique and, in my opinion, very special. So I'm going to save it until the end. And I think when we get there, after analyzing these songs first, I think you'll understand why. Let's start with Xenoblade Chronicles 2's One Last You, a song that is arguably my favorite track in the series for varying reasons. And what I love about this song so much, though, is how intertwined with the narrative that it is. If you don't pay attention to the lyrics, the resurrection of Pyra and Mithra would come out of left field and feel shoehorned in, when they're anything but. For Xenoblade 2 makes use of its final song to cap off the emotional arc that was Rex, Pyra, Mithra, and Klaus's stories. One Last You details the final thoughts of Pyra and Mithra after sacrificing themselves as Numa to destroy the Beanstalk, and will still never get over that name, to prevent the destruction of all rest and to save the one they love. The song details their experience with rapidly approaching death and how they look back on their, albeit short time with Rex, with such warm fondness. As their death as a blade means reversion to a core crystal. With the loss of their memories, they start to feel those memories slip away. I see you gently fade away. Your silhouette has gone to the other side of the mist, and all the memories with no sound, so quiet, just like in slow motion and moves so slowly. And the song transitions into Pyra and Mithra recognizing all that Rex had done for them, and they themselves wishing they could do something, anything, if it would put a smile on your face. Upon this contemplation, their almost solemn recognition of their fate turns into desperation and turns into the bargaining stage of grief, as they shout out, pray to the architect, the god of all rest, Klaus, their father, to give them just a little bit more time. Could the Sandglass somehow take back the time? One last time is all I ask from you. Can you spare me some time with the one man I loved? I wouldn't care how and where it should be. But I need one last time. I want to tell you how I feel inside for you. I want you to know. And that's where the song ends. But in game, the character that you picked before down in Morditha mouths out the words, I love you. And there's some contention as to whether they actually say I love you, but that's what it looks like to me, and I think it's the best fit for what's going on, so let's go with that. The song details Pyra and Mithra remembering their time with Rex, and at the end, desperately wanting to spend more time with the one they love, so they call out to their father to grant them one wish. And Klaus, who we don't see during this, uses the last of his strength and possibly the last of the power of the conduit still in the world to grant his daughters the one wish they have ever asked of him, and the only thing he could ever do to make them smile and to be happy, the only gift he was ever able to give them. He revitalizes them and splits them into two bodies to live their own life. No longer in the role or the capacity of the Aegis, to live their own life as they choose, after having done and gave so much for this world and for Klaus, whom they had given hope back to, and made all the pain and struggle he dealt with worth it. To me, this is the perfect encapsulation of the final development of Klaus, and the perfect send-off to Xenoblade 2. It wraps up the stories of Pyra and Mithra, who throughout most of the game just wanted to die, to them being at that moment desperately wanting to live. I wouldn't have ended it any other way, but let's take a step back chronologically speaking and talk about Torna the Golden Country and a moment of eternity. At the end, the death of Laura rocks Jin to his very core, where the last vestiges of hope and humanity crumble away as he assumes the powers of a flesh eater and sets out to rid the world of Amalthus and humanity. He is self-absorbed into nihilism, wanting but one last moment with Laura and willing to burn the world to have it. A man once hailed as a hero of Torna, and the world, now emotionally crushed under the weight of loss, curls up in the lap of despair, waiting for death's tender embrace after walking his final path. A moment of eternity plays in the moment right before Laura's death. Doesn't show us it, forces us to remember it from the base game, which makes it all the more painful. And then when Jin burns down his old house, with all of his old memories and past lives within, metaphorically speaking at least, the song depicts Laura, from the afterlife, serenading Jin, that it'll all be okay, saying that this wind will carry lots of memories, and you'll look around, you won't see me anywhere, but you will feel in the air that I am there. She may no longer be alive, but she will always be there watching over Jin. That's soon enough, they'll meet again one day. Their time together in the grand scheme of things was but a moment in time, and that moment will pass them by, but that moment where they were together will shine forever. Don't try and stay stuck in the past. Let that moment be forever. Let those good times live in your heart and not root you down. Let them elicit a pleasant smile, not a vengeful one. Laura and Jin have vastly different perspectives on how fast time marches on. Jin is a blade eater can live forever, while Laura was confined to just one life. But hey, it's not that bad, for those memories are carved eternally in stone, never to erode, never to fade, always there, whenever you need them. And she urges Jin to never forget those memories. Those good times, that light and warmth that his hands gave her. Don't give in to despair. Keep walking on, and keep showing your smile. And that at some point down the road along his journey, he must now walk alone. He'll find someone else to help make the journey all the more bearable. She'll always be watching on from that one moment they shared in the past, for another point in the road that he's walked. That moment of eternity. All words, all thoughts, all feelings, that all just fell on deaf ears. Jin chose his path, and it's the one he will walk, until Laura's prediction came true, and he met Rex. And sure, it took a bit, but he helped bring that smile back at the very end, and then in death, they would be reunited. We walk on to Xenoblade 3 with Where We Belong, and this one is similar in vein to one last year, where you can interpret this as either through the perspective of N and M to each other, or Noah and Mio to each other, and I personally think it's a bit of a mix of both, since Noah and N are one and the same alongside Mio and M, just different sides of the same coin, a battle of internal consciousness. Two souls whose meeting was merely a miracle of fate, who loved each other and in a world of war and strife found comfort in each other. And if they want to continue forever, they would need to return to that day. Bit of interpretation here, but that day could refer to the day they met, or the day depicted at the beginning and end of the game, but we'll get into that. And these happy days must carry on. So once again, let's go back to that day to where we held hand in hand. The song has this almost nostalgic twang to it, as they realize those happy days they shared won't last. If we want this warmth to last forever again, let's go back to that moment of day. As time goes by and we all change. And not just us, the world keeps changing. But little did I know that this was coming. Because you were there, always smiling. I wonder how you'll be in the future. I want to know. It's hard to figure. But by accepting this feeling inside, we'll eventually create a miracle. You see, life is a constant, never-ending cycle of change, where we as people change for the better or worse, but also the world, it's constantly changing and evolving. It's malleable, it's never staying in one place for long, or ever even. And maybe this departure blindsided them and how quickly it came. Maybe that's just life. And they don't even know what each other will be like in the future. They could be completely different people. And we all change after all, and it's hard to accept that this feeling of fear and anxiety, this desire to see each other again, maybe it will give way to a miracle. Don't know what that miracle will take, what form it'll take, when it'll happen, or even if it'll happen at all. But maybe it will. Maybe miracles do exist. These happy days must carry on. So once again, let's go back to that day, to where we held hand in hand. And the end of the song does something pretty dang clever with the wordplay. I didn't notice it until I was writing the script. The song references numerous times that if they want that happiness, these happy days must carry on. So once again, let's go back to that day, to where we held hand in hand. And next verse ends like this. If we want this warmth to last forever again, let's go back to that moment of day. And it isn't until the end of the song, the second to last verse, where it transitions and goes something like this. I see you smiling there so peacefully and cheerfully talking to me. These happy days must carry on. So once again, let's go back to the start. It's subtle. I guarantee you may not have even noticed it, because I didn't for numerous listens. However many times I listened to the song, I never noticed this until I was making this video. This is a fundamental break in what is being described here. Repeatedly throughout the song, they talked about going back to that moment of day or when they held hand in hand. which both to me feel like they're talking about Ionios when they first met. Or maybe even the flute exchange, something like that. But at the very end, they have a realization. If they want this happiness again in the future, they have to go back to the start. Before Ionios, before they even met, and once this realization is made, the final verse comes into play and makes all the more sense. This goodbye is not the end. I know until we meet again, our feelings will remain the same, together as one, till we find ourselves again. They know that if they're going to be happy, they must bid each other farewell for now, but that this goodbye is not the end of it. Someday, somehow, maybe they can find each other again. And maybe when that day comes, they'll find out who they were by themselves in Ionios. All those memories come rushing back like a tide, and their old selves come back, reborn anew, with one another, finally reunited. And until that day, their feelings will remain the same. And how does the game end? Think about it. With Noah vanishing, after returning to his world and time continues to flow, after hearing the off-seeing tune. Not that coincidental anymore, huh? Maybe they found each other, maybe their journey's just beginning. All we have right now, though, is that we have the thought that some way, somehow, they will try and find a way. Maybe the DLC will elaborate on this, and maybe it won't. But to me, this is a beautiful send-off for the game, in my opinion, because it depicts how bittersweet their farewell is. Ionios wasn't sustainable, it never was. It was self-destructive and toxic in its conception. And if they're going to find true happiness, they must be willing to bear this painful farewell, possibly lose all their memories and be reassured some way, somewhere along the path that they walk, maybe their own paths will converge once again. Maybe when worlds collide one more time. Now we get to the big one. And kind of unexpected, huh? I've been kind of building up to Beyond the Sky, the final song from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Why wait to talk about it till the end? I mean, it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but what makes it so special? It's not like it was my first Xenoblade game. No, that was X. First one I actually even beat was Xenoblade 2. I only first played Xenoblade 1 to completion like a year or two ago. Not that far away in the grand scheme of things, huh? Why wait till the end to talk about this one? Like I said, I view these songs as love songs, and I don't think Beyond the Sky is an exception. And while you could interpret it as Fiora and Shulk's song to each other, or Melia with a newfound hope and confidence, essentially singing kind of to herself, or to her past self, sure, those interpretations are all well and good, and you may have your own, and that's fine. But as I was making this video and thinking what to say, I was listening to the song, and something struck me, you know? You ever just have those moments where it's like this one spark in your brain, and something you knew and loved is completely turned on its head, and you got a completely different perspective on it, and you view it in an entirely new light. I had that moment with Beyond the Sky. I always viewed it as somehow different to the other songs that we've talked about. I could just never put my finger on the reason why. I never really listened to the lyrics as one overarching story before, so as I paid more attention to them, I realized something. You can interpret these lyrics as a love letter from Takahashi to the player, the audience. And look, I get it. Maybe that sounds strange, or maybe it's common knowledge. Maybe you're just thinking I'm overthinking things. Look, I don't know, but seriously, just go with me here for a minute, okay? Hear me out. Listen to the song, and the emotion in the music, and at one times and what words are spoken with certain emphasis, and read the lyrics as one train of thought, conversation that's one way, from Takahashi to the player. Think of it like that, and some things fall into line. I'm going to do what I haven't done for the other songs. I'm just going to read out the entirety of the lyrics. And I got this from fandom.com. I'll leave a link in the description to the pages I used to get the various lyrics. But here's Beyond the Sky. And again, think with that context. Tell me why. Love ain't nothing but a heartache. Had to do it, sorry. Tell me why. The reason I am here. Just only you I see from far away. I've come for you. Don't know why. I searched all night and day, but when I'm here, darkness came, no lights to show the way. Dark despair, still I seek for you. All I longed to see was your smile. I know I won't look behind, I see no regrets, no guiding lights so dark. Are you my light? But now I am here, and you're close to me. My heart is with you, forever and ever. See, this place, the end of world she fears, no shining lights anywhere. This emptiness and tears. Didn't know it was you all along. You were chasing after my shadows. I know I won't look behind. I see no regrets. No guiding lights so dark. Are you my light? But now I am here, and you're close to me. My heart is with you forever and ever. No, I won't let go. I will hold it in my arms. Oh, this light was you. I know it now. Beyond the sky, this new place you'll see. I came to you to share our dream together. I won't let us part. There's no place to be. My heart is with you, forever and ever. Look, maybe that kind of sounded like when your English teacher told you to read Shakespeare one time and completely understand it. But if you know the story of the development of Xenoblade, or at least the broad strokes of what happened, the words kind of fall into place. A story Takahashi wanted to tell, but couldn't find anyone willing to publish it. Until Nintendo decided, sure, we'll do it. Xenosaga and Xenogears, the series that predated Xenoblade, never went on to become extremely successful franchises. But Takahashi still had stories he wanted to tell, and especially this story that he wanted to tell. He searched all night and day, but when he was here, darkness came. No light was there to show a way. It seemed hopeless. The English wording is a bit wonky here, so I'll do my best to reword and interpret it. Even despite that dark despair, he seeks for you and interpret the use of you from here on out as the audience. He, Takahashi, has no regrets. He, Takahashi, won't look behind. Are you, the audience, my light, Takahashi's light? But finally he is here, at this place, and you are close to me, the audience. Xenoblade 1 is the story he wanted to tell, and managed to finally to do so. This place, the world she fears, no light anywhere, just emptiness and tears. Hopeless. No way to convey the story that he believes needs to be told. Just emptiness. No light, no hope. Just tears and emptiness. He didn't know that it was you all along. The audience chasing after my shadows, waiting for this story and for this vision to become realized. And the song ends with him saying, no, I won't let go. I will hold it in my arms. This chance, this opportunity, this light, it was you. All of you who sat down and listened to his story and played his game, you were there all along. He knows now. Beyond the sky, that horizon, there are even more places to see and stories to tell. Xenoblade 2 and 3. And that we can share a dream together. These chronicles, these stories, we can share them together. He won't let us part. His heart is with you, the audience, forever and ever. After trying and struggling for so long to get a foothold, Xenoblade became that. A beacon to guide us to this story, so that this dream could be realized, and so that more stories can be told. And those stories become the ones we just analyzed, and the ones that come out in the future. Beyond the Sky to me is the story of Takahashi's journey through fear and trepidation, of trying to find a foothold in the video game scene, that hopelessness and despair, and then finally finding a light, realizing it was always there. This story, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, being that foothold, and for all of us to be with him together, at last in these stories and in these dreams. Maybe it was intended this way, maybe not. But personally, I'm a fan of Death of the Author is the Birth of the Reader, and personally, I quite like this interpretation. It's a love story, don't get me wrong, it's not the way you think it may be. Not between various characters or furthering the narrative, just a love letter from Takahashi to the people that gave his game a chance, and let this storyteller tell his stories. From Takahashi to his audience. Honestly, that interpretation kind of gives me a newfound appreciation for the stories and songs that we just analyzed. That's why I wanted to do it at the very end, so I can recontextualize all those little narratives and themes and stories to tell. And it all exists because of Xenoblade 1, because it's that beacon that drew that light into that emptiness. And now, we can imagine beyond the sky. So I'm going to call the video there for today. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload in the future, because you know I'll be there the moment we get any new information for the Xenoblade 3 DLC. And when that Xenoblade 3 DLC comes out, you know I'll be covering it. Streams, reviews, gameplay, impressions, whatever. You know I'll be in there. And roasts, don't worry, got plenty of those. Have a great day, everybody. Go play some video games if you can. As always, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
One day, I hope I can meet them all. The people of this endless world.
Me too. We will. I know it.
We'll meet them. And whatever happens, we'll face our future together.